What's up, guys? Justin Brock here with the Insurance Gurus podcast. And today we have Steve Ogden over here from Agencybloc. And Agencybloc is, they've been involved in Medicare Con as a sponsor. They're a CRM company that we have used for years now. And I'm really excited to have Steve. Steve, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, my pleasure, Justin. Great conference, by the way.
Well, thank you so much. We enjoyed having you there. Got to actually speak with you a couple of times while we were there and further build our relationship, which has been awesome. And since we've started getting involved with Agencybloc, Steven, our chief marketing officer, is on the beta team and helps test some of the new features. And the more involved we've gotten, the more we really liked your team and really enjoyed having you at Medicare Con. So thank you for being there. So today I want to get into first, I want people to know, Steve, just a little bit of background about you and, when you came into working with Agencybloc and how that's going, and then we'll kind of evolve. So Steve, where did you just like wake up one day and said, I want to work for a health insurance CRM company?
Not exactly. When I was very young in my career, I did similar to what you did. I joined the military for about 4 years when I was 17.
Nice.
Much to my mother's distress, because she would have kept me till I was 50 if it was up to her. So I went from the military, and when I got out, I had no clue what I wanted to do. Or I went to the University of Iowa for a semester and said, I don't want to do this. So I started selling, and I guess my longest position in sales was as an executive director for a company called Banker Systems. We did bank compliance all over the United States, and they were later sold a couple times. And then software as a service has been the next choice for me. I started out in document management. And then 6 years ago, my wife was dragging me back to Iowa from Denver, Colorado. And I had a previous relationship with the marketing director at Agencybloc. And she said, if you're coming to Iowa, we'll make a place for you. And I became the sales manager at Agencybloc, be 6 years in June, actually.
Perfect. Well, that's awesome, man. So I always like to know that, just because sometimes it can get boring talking about a product only when you don't know the people that you're working with. And so that's a good, it's always cool to see how people end up where they are. And it seems like a great company to work with. Everybody that I've talked to, Tasha, Sarah, several people that we've, engaged with at Agencybloc, always been very, very, just nice. I'm looking for a better word than nice, but they've always been really, really nice, and that's not always a thing in the world we live in. When you deal with different companies, sometimes you get, people that don't really seem like they want to be there. And so Agencybloc must have a pretty good culture within its organization, because we're, from what we've seen, like you don't have people all that nice and seem to be happy with what they're doing unless you got some good culture there. So I think you guys got that. Does that sound right?
It does. It starts in Iowa. I always tell people from the East Coast when I'm talking to them, if you go down Interstate 80 through Iowa and you have a flat tire, Justin, somebody will stop, not to shoot you, but to help you change your tire. So it just kind of starts out with that Midwestern, no accents one way or the other, pretty neutral phone conversations. But I will tell you that my sales team actually lets a lot of prospects go, Justin, because they're just not a good fit for us. Mm-hmm. And we are the number one agency recommended agency management system in the health and life space. We want to keep those recommendations coming, those testimonials and videos and things of that nature. So it's very, very important to us to answer that phone right away or that chat, to have good client success teams that can answer questions, or if they can't answer them, get the right answers and get back to people. Our clients are very, very important to us. And ultimately, we want people in Agencybloc that'll partner with us to solve their problems.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I think you guys do a tremendous job. Agency Block, has been one of the things that we've enjoyed about Agency Block is, we have our lead aggregation system we created on the chassis of Go High Level called GoGuru,
Mm-hmm.
and we have our internal still CRM for all of our salespeople. On the client side is Agency Block, and so we have those two communicating together all the time. And one reason we like Agency Block, well, a couple of reasons, but one has always been so clean feeling. The aesthetics of it haven't changed a lot since we got it, and I think it's just because it works. It's clean. The reporting and the organizational standard of it already being there with the majority of the information you need. But the ease of being able to create some custom fields and things like that, but really like it's already kind of set up in the box to start using right away. So when we got Agency Block originally, probably, I guess probably 7 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago, everything was Excel. We had probably, I'd say we had 4 or 5,000 clients at this point. We were scaling, and we were like, we needed something better. We needed something that everyone could get on at the same time, search for, edit, all that. And that's when we got into the CRM side. But the amount of things that we realized you can do when you have data in a system that can, that we can tie into and invoke a response through marketing or activity or something through that system. You can't do that, in just Excel. You have to have a real system to build out. So that has been, huge for us. Also, we just recently moved our commissions reporting over to Agency Block as well. And the affordability in comparison to the competitors, I'm not sure why Agency Block does it so inexpensively, other than just to, I would imagine. I have some ideas. One of my ideas is that it probably becomes, people don't want to leave even more because they're like, well, it's also doing all my commission stuff, so it's kind of keeping them. It's more of it's like can be a retention tool. But it's been much better than what we were using for us. Works very well for our internal LOA commission models. And so, from those two standpoints, and then you guys now having the Zapier integration, some of the uniformed eApp, Medicare Advantage and Part D integrations. And I know that you guys are constantly considering and working on other integrations. And one of the things too, and I'm going to ask you some questions here, but just kind of raving a little bit about Agency Block. One of the things, like initially I might have thought, this Agency Block could be slow to add a new feature. Mm-hmm. But then I realized over time it's because quality control is very important. And so you guys don't do it until you've tested it, through and through, had beta teams testing it, made sure that integration was going to work, was necessary, wasn't tacky. And so anytime you've done an integration, it's been, from my perspective, as seamless as I've ever seen in a SaaS product. So I can appreciate that, because sometimes there's other products that they'll integrate something so quick and it's not even working. And you're thinking, do I really need that? Now it's just kind of clouding my dashboard. So, I can appreciate now the quality over quantity of add-ons, making sure that when something is added, it's necessary and works well.
Yeah, so I think philosophically, Justin, the owners of Agency Block wanted it to be an agency management system, right? Mm-hmm. And so at that point, some of our competitors, they're buying HR and they're buying quoting tools. They're never integrating them. The CRM never gets updated because they're so busy working on these other tools and trying to get them to work and various things. And with Agency Block, we just said, you know what, we would rather play with the best of breed if they're capable partners, like, on the enrollment side, Ease or Employee Navigator, for instance. On the Medicare side, we just have a partnership with Medicare Edge, which is the newest model Connectors got out, as opposed to Plan Compare or GoGuru. I mean, We know that there are platforms out there that are very good at what they do. What we want to do is be a management system. But at the same time, we recognize strictly from our clients what they need, right? One of the examples that I come back to is a sales pipeline. We knew for a long time on the sales side we were missing a piece of the puzzle for somebody to be a full office management company. And so when they went out to do that sales pipeline, man, they got clients together. They did betas. It took us a while to get that sales pipeline. As you can understand I'm a sales guy too, right?
Yeah.
Give me that stuff. I don't want to wait around.
Right.
But as Stephen could attest to, we made sure that when we let that thing go, it was ready to go. And now that sales pipeline is just incredibly useful for the salespeople who log on to Agencybloc. And really, they've done a good job. Now, is there enhancements that we will make? Absolutely. One of the things that we just included was that brokerage compensation disclosure onto the commission side, Justin, because all the people that are doing groups that have to over 1,000 in compensation have to disclose that. Well, we might as well have reporting in there that tells them who they have to disclose it to and a form they can relay that data to just shoot out and keep a copy of that form in attachments. So if somebody comes to them and says, hey, you didn't do this, they can say, we sure did, because we've got all our data in one silo and we don't have to go all over the place to try to find what we're looking for.
Yeah. One of the things, and this is going to be self-serving, but like, one of the things we added the commission module. And so immediately, we have an extensive and growing downline, but then we have an LOA inside sales team. In the commissions module, tier one goal, right, was pay our LOAs through there, our inside salespeople. And so when we started doing the initial imports, we were working with Tasha and we said, okay, we're going to remove anybody who's not on that team from the commission spreadsheets we're updating, at least until we get the LOAs added, because there was a lot of adding policies into Agencybloc from the downline that we didn't normally add.
Right.
But now I'm like, well, I kind of want to use it for overall reporting, right? I want to be able to use it for building out all kinds of reports for our entire downline and ecosystem, for production reports to, commission pulling, all sorts of stuff, right? And so now I'm thinking tier two goal is go back and add all policies in, right? Like everything, because we're already using it for the recruiting side with the agent management side of it, which is a really, cool thing, because, you guys have it built out so well for it to have an agents tab where you can go through and we can put all of our downline agents in there, all of our agent prospects. So it becomes a recruiting side. It has a client side. It has the commissions module, but even the carrier, data locker, to be able to store all those forms in one location, to be able to store all of the different contact info, all the different carrier details in the agent side, to be able to put everyone's E&O expiration date, all that, and then to set up reminders and stuff. It's just one more touch point where we as an entity are able to utilize that technology to hit our agents again. Like we're there, we're helping you. Like you think about that from an agent or a client standpoint. I want them to get birthday emails. I want them to get, hey, you're on the agent side, your license is expiring in 2 months. And they're getting a lot of those from carriers and things too, but I don't want them to forget that we're also on their team. And so we're using it more and more. The first couple of years, we were really using it to replace an Excel spreadsheet. And then thankfully we got Stephen, who helped us begin to use it for more and more and more. There's so much that can be done in there. The reporting side really has helped us, compare 1 year to the next. And then think about this, like if you're listening to this, when you really start to build an internal sales team, and, we power a scoreboard with Agencybloc. So we have Agencybloc reports pulling and sending to a Google's, spreadsheet that basically powers a scoreboard for gamification. If you don't know what gamification is, it's just it's turning it into to a game a little bit. You're putting the gamification up there, just like if you were going to go play Pac-Man, and at the end you see your scoreboard, who's the high scores, right? Well, we have a scoreboard that's powered by that. But one of the things that we're looking at is, now that we are entering probably our second year of utilizing it, really much better this year than last year, but our second year of utilizing it for like every application, like on the LOA side, to where getting more and more data in there, you're able to draw comparisons from the year before and really say, what is my growth? Because as a broker, when you're writing, if you pulled me up on DOI, I probably have 100 carrier contracts to my name, right?
Yep.
Now I'm probably writing the majority of the business with 20 of them, and the majority of that with 5 of those, right? But
sure,
when you're pulling, to go and pull reports from all those people and put it together is like, or all those carriers, it's impossible. And so that data has really helped give us clarity of where to spend our time and energy, and it gives us more and more clarity all the time. Reporting is something that sometimes an individual agent doesn't realize they need, and then they grow, and then they wish they had started reporting before they knew they needed it.
Yeah. So even things like cross-selling, Justin, if you've got one database, one silo, you can easily go in there and say, show me everybody that has dental insurance, but not vision insurance, because I've got this great new vision policy I want to email market out to, right? And then that is just low-hanging fruit. If they're already buying one product from you, then they're going to buy more products from you if you're doing a good job of servicing. The perfect example, I told you I used to sell to banks. If a bank has 3 accounts with my name on it, I'm not going anywhere, because I'm not going to take my bill pay to Wells Fargo, because it's just too much work. Even though Wells Fargo may do a better job with it, if they're buying all those policies from you, guess what? I mean, it's that stickiness you talked about. Or if I can put Agencybloc fields out there on any web page in the world, and when they fill in those fields and hit submit, it builds that individual or group into Agencybloc for you. And like you were talking about workflows, I can set up a workflow that says, as soon as that individual is built, come off that lead form, shoot them an email and tell them, hey, thanks for coming in the website. We'll answer all your questions about insurance, and somebody will be with you shortly. That way it gives that kind of gap between people on the road and trying to get to their phone, and that direct contact to that client. And I will tell you that if you can get to a client within 5 minutes of when they come through your website, your chances of getting that business goes up 9 times. Yeah. So just little things like that you can utilize in a system makes your business just better and better. Yeah,
no, absolutely. The utilization of it. And I know that I've heard you guys call it agency management system before, but it's great because there becomes this, like, when people throw out CRM, and the meanings of all these technologies. So we actually started saying before, Agencybloc is our CRM, GoGuru is our lead aggregation system. It's doing the text follow up, that kind of stuff. It's doing the pipeline, the initial pipeline coming in, and then as soon as they get to certain stages, we're sending them over to Agencybloc, because that's where we're going to be doing all of our commissions reporting. That's where we're doing our all of our data management. It's where all of our retention team is utilizing. And so I like agency management systems, so you can kind of separate, like, really the CRM is both of those for us combined right now. But it's the agency management system that I think the GoGuru system doesn't do that side as well. And then they communicate really, really well together. So and that Zapier integration that you guys added made Steven's life a whole lot easier.
Good.
But yeah, so you guys, are there any integrations on the horizon? I'll give you an example. I know Sunfire seems to be one. I know you guys have Lead Edge, which is Connecture, and it seems like about 50% of everyone's using that, and then 50% is using Sunfire. Is any talks to integrate Sunfire?
So I think we have probably at times probably talked to Sunfire. It's for us again. It's got to be a partnership, right? We have integrated with people that don't really do us or give us any benefit, because if our clients call them, they don't answer the phone, or
Yeah.
it's just crazy stuff. But we have talked to Sunfire, that we know they've really come a long ways in getting that. We actually are looking at integrations all the time, Justin. Just and again, we're not, we're a software company that's very focused on health and life. If you're a high school teacher in Michigan, you're not going to use Agencybloc. So
Right.
guess where all those integration recommendations and revision recommendations come from? They come from you.
Yeah.
And so I just like to say to the people out there, look, if you feel like Agencybloc needs something to help you in your business, fire it out to us. Our customer service people or product people always are wanting to hear what's next and what we can prioritize to give you guys what you want. So there's a couple things that are in the pipeline right now on our roadmap, Justin, like two-way integration on email. Right now we have one-way integration on email. And in other words, I can pull up my Outlook and I can move messages to Agencybloc and it'll look for the email address and pull it into that record, right? But some people want us to be able to initiate those emails in Agencybloc and move them to Outlook. So currently on our roadmap is more of a two-way integration. And as anybody knows who does any development, it's better to integrate if you can stay away from Microsoft a little bit, because you never know what they're going to do or where they're going, and they don't give notice to everybody. So you end up changing your development all the time. So we're working on that two-way integration based on all the primary email advice.
Yeah. Because we use like Mac Mail client, all of our people are on Apple. And the only reason we really did that is we felt like we got more longevity out of the Apple systems than Microsoft. I know there's some benefit to Microsoft as well.
Sure.
But when we were looking at it from a user standpoint, Apple products seem to last longer, and they cost more, but they last longer. That Apple tax goes a long way in longevity. So big problem on them is when they update their software, it does seem like sometimes they'll start to tether down the effect of the old ones, but that could be psychological. I'm not sure. I feel like if anybody ever proves that, there'll be a large class action lawsuit.
True.
But well, Steve, I'm gonna I'll come back to you in just a second. I do have a word from one of our sponsors, and I have a couple more questions for you. So hold on just a minute. We're gonna hear from Pekin here. We've been doing business with Pekin Insurance for several years. Not Peking, not Pekin, as some of our customers often mispronounce it. Pekin Insurance has a great portfolio of products. They've been very competitive in the Medicare supplement world for us. They also have Silver and Fit and some other additional added benefits their Medicare supplement client holders or policy holder get to benefit from. But lately, they have really transformed their product offering in the life space to include a very competitive by commission and premium final expense product. And they still have a lot of other life products that make them a go-to carrier for someone who's in many states. So if you are interested in checking out Pekin, you'll be able to click the link here, or if you can't see a link, or if you see it, just write it down and go over there. You definitely want to add Pekin to the portfolio, or you can email us for information at contracting@BobbyBrockInsurance.com. That's contracting@BobbyBrockInsurance.com. We want to get you set up with Pekin so you can start helping your customers with their awesome product and portfolio line today. All right, Pekin. I mean, heck yeah. They're also kind of in the Midwest and very nice people. So easy to take a sponsorship from a company that I know is going to communicate well with our agents and our community. I wanted to ask you, Steve, about Block Builder. I wanted to ask about you guys. You have an event that you put together. I have not gotten to attend it, but I would absolutely love to one day. what's the format of that? What's the goal of the event? How many attendees, things like that. Tell me more about Block Builder. I'd love to know more about it.
Yeah, so actually, Block Builder kind of started out as an attachment to Western Asset Protection's conference, user conference. I don't know if you know those guys. They're in Phoenix. And we took a day ahead of that conference and brought in people from the West Coast just to talk about Agencybloc, have some networking, some workshops and things like that. And it really was very, very successful. So the next year we went to Jacksonville, Florida, and had a good group there. I'm not sure how many came to that event, but I hear about it quite a bit when I talk to people, or my clients or prospects. So it was a good event. And then we had COVID, of course. We had a virtual a conference last year, and this year we've decided to go virtual and live both. And so we'll have probably 500 users, and they're still registering. So that's probably not the final count, but some will be live, some will be virtual. Again, we'll bring in the product team and the customer support people to do workshops. I know I'm doing a workshop with Susan Plumer of Connecture about Medicare Edge. So just anything that we've got going on with Agencybloc or is new with Agencybloc that people have questioned, and we'll get out there and show them how it works. But the key, as you know, Justin, to any kind of meeting like that is the darn networking. It's amazing what people are doing with Agencybloc that we don't even know about. Yeah. And so for them to be able to do their peers, and here's the other thing that I just want to mention, this is incredible. If our staff does as well as your staff did at Medicare Con 2022, I am going to be one happy camper, because trust me, those people made me feel so comfortable and answered all my questions and did it. So shout out on your conference to your staff and what they did. I'm hoping that we can accomplish the same thing from making people feel important when they come to Block Builder.
Well, that's awesome. We definitely want to talk about getting more involved in that. I felt like I was late to even consider it this year, but I know I want to be there next year. May still be sending somebody from my team. I won't be able to make it just because we have a scheduling conflict. But we actually have some people that'll be in that area at another event in the Midwest that we're considering flying over and coming to Block Builder as well. But I got to get in there and commit to it because it's coming up fast.
Yeah. If Des Moines, Iowa has ever been on your bucket list, anybody, now's the time.
Hey, Des Moines, it's funny because like we're doing one in Salt Lake City, and we went to an event in Boise last year. And so I'm kind of like, those are all in that same conceptually, yep. Iowa, Idaho, Utah, like kind of Midwest, central US states. I think we really, the feedback from my team going to these types of places has always been really good. Like they're always, and it's the same thing when people come to Tupelo. Sometimes you think like, oh, I'm going to go to, like I just got back from Miami, I'm going to go to Los Angeles, I'm going to go to New York. And there's some cool stuff about big towns, like I love going to New York because, or Las Vegas or somewhere, because I can get pretty much any type of food I want, like any time of day, but when you go to some of these other places, even people when they come to Tupelo, which is smaller than Des Moines, we always get good feedback where people are like, "Hey, this is a really cool town." Like nobody would know that, but Des Moines, is a little bit bigger. But I've always heard good things about Des Moines, Boise, Salt Lake City. Good people, like you said. Everyone's kind, polite. And, it's also can be some picturesque landscapes and cityscapes in these places. One that I was surprised of, and if you haven't been, I don't know if you've been, but now I'm just rambling, but Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
I was very surprised at how, pretty that city was. I had no idea how big it was, first of all, but but really beautiful. We actually went to visit Advisors Excel last year in Topeka, Kansas, or may have been earlier this year. I can't remember. But anyway, Topeka was a nice town. So, we get fixated on big cities, and we're doing Medicare Con in Vegas next year because we did want to, grow it. And sometimes it's easier to get people to come to Vegas or Miami. But don't sleep on Des Moines. Like, I'm sure Des Moines, Boise, these places that have events like that. Russell Brunson does one. It always reminds me of y'all's. His is called Funnel Hacker, but yours is like Block Builder. It just kind of feels the same. And he does his in Boise. He's always done it in Boise because that's where their headquarters is. And feedback I've always gotten from people there is like, Boise is a super nice, beautiful town. So anyway, that's my rabbit hole on going to some of those towns. You might end up moving to one of them. You're like, hey, this is a lot. This is the pace of life I want over. It's fun to visit New York, but do I want to live in New York?
Well, and especially in the insurance industry, Justin, what people don't know about Des Moines is they're kind of the little insurance capital of the world. It's pretty amazing, some of the companies that are located in Des Moines. It's
very funny because I would say the insurance hubs that I would like, if I was listing them, I should do like a video on this one day, but the insurance hubs are Des Moines. And I noticed this when I started writing annuities years ago. It was like every annuity company I'd have to send business to, and annuity FMOs, Des Moines. I was like, what the hell's going on in Des Moines? And then Topeka has a little hub. They have a couple of really large annuity FMOs, Security Benefit Life there. Those are the unsuspecting ones. Kansas City, I would say from an FMO and call center perspective, they have Spring Venture Group, which, huge Select Quote. You don't think of that. Also, people, I don't think, know how big Kansas City is. It's a big area.
It is. Big.
But then like Clearwater, Florida, Tampa is growing very fast, but I would say it's not I'd say Orlando and Miami are much larger cities. But all these, marketing organizations and call centers are right there, and so many of them right there in Tampa and Clearwater. So, yeah, definitely some interesting, and of course DFW, but you expect that one.
Sure,
DFW has a lot of them too. But yeah, so Steve, what's on the horizon for Agencybloc? Where do you see? What do you see being the primary goal for you at Agencybloc and Agencybloc, as a whole, in the next, 12 months?
Yeah. So, on our agenda is just growth, Justin. I don't know if people know this about Agencybloc, but we average about 80 new agencies a month. We pick up at Agencybloc. And so, the growth has been there, but we always, are interested in growth. And the other thing is just making sure from an integration standpoint, like you said, after we saw the success of Zapier, that we are primed to look at things on an integration side that people need that we're never going to be. Right. That is going to be key. There are things in the platform like the bidirectional email that we're talking about that we're working on. And as a matter of fact, if people have Agencybloc, they can go right up to the profiles and settings and they can see the roadmap. It's right there in Agencybloc of what our product team's working on and what we're doing next and what we've done quarterly. So that's always a nice little guide. Not everybody is that transparent. So I'm fortunate to be a sales guy at a company that does keep that roadmap transparent to all their prospects and clients. But it is just basically trying to figure out ways where we can bring more people like you, Justin, into this fold and make them very successful at what they do.
Yeah. Well, you guys have certainly helped us. You're a great relationship, and we appreciate you guys' continued support of what we do through technology and just through collaboration like we're doing right now. So appreciate it, Steve. Thank you so much for taking the time today. We are looking forward to seeing you in the future, whether some of our team are at Block Builder and see you there, or we see you at Medicare Con next, or sometime in between. Let us know if we can do anything for you. And if anybody is looking to get Agencybloc, you can reach out to them directly at agencybloc.com. If you want me to get referral credit, tell them I referred you there, but not a big deal. We'll take it any way we can get it. But but we refer Agencybloc without even really thinking about that. We just refer the people there because we know that our audience is not going to feel like we led them astray, and so that's why it's easy to refer to a good company like Agencybloc. So thank you guys so much for watching today, and thank you, Steve, for being here.
Yeah, and thank you, Justin, for having us. We really appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks, buddy. It's time to train like a guru. GoGuru University is an ever-expanding, cutting-edge, interactive training platform with live weekly coaching calls constructed to train agents efficiently and compliantly. GoGuru University offers a library of training modules explaining Medicare A to Z, face-to-face and telesales training, SEO and other marketing, and much more. Visit goguru.university to schedule your one-on-one demo today.